can read your mind?
The phone that you have can pick up on your brain's frequency. Have you ever been thinking of something and it just appeared on your phone? Whether you were scrolling on whatever social media app or whatever, it just pops up.
Facts.
Not the fact that they all can hear us and they remember what you search for and they try to show you what you like. But there has been many times where I haven't said a thing or searched for something and it was just a thought. And it appeared on my phone, and this has happened on multiple occasions. The phones can pick up on our brain's frequencies. Same way reality in this universe does. When you think certain things, you bring it into fruition. You can manifest your destiny. Live in the now and in the present.
Hey, weird.
And watch how things change for you.
Okay.
Now, both of these bottled water sat in the car overnight. This one is spring water. You can see it's completely frozen solid.
Yeah.
Frozen. It's the sun. Not a speck of ice nowhere in the water. Can someone tell me why this has happened? This is purified. This is spring. Solid. Frozen.
That's weird. Yeah, why didn't it freeze?
Yeah, help me out, y'all.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to quickly make this video to prove to you that we can no longer trust anything that we see with our eyes. We can't trust images that we see on social media. We can't trust videos. We can't trust our friends. We can't trust the news. We can't trust anything or anyone. So be careful out there.
Have you guys ever watched Captured? It's a British TV show where a soldier gets framed for something that he didn't do using deepfake. And when I was watching it, this was a few years ago, I was like, damn, that technology seems pretty crazy. There you go. But putting my conspiratorial hat on, I always believe that when they give something to the masses, they've probably had access to it for the last 10 years. They're only giving you access now, which then also makes me think, how many events and political events out there do you think have been faked? How many things that you've seen on the TV were being faked right in front of you?
You never know.
And I think we're going to reach a point where nobody trusts the internet. They want you to distrust each other. They just want to create chaos in the world. And I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but we've reached a point where the internet is dead. Is this person in front of you real? You're going to have to keep rubbing your eyes. Let me look at Dina's teeth. Let me look at his mouth area. That's why you have to be more rooted in real life. The point I always make to people is, strengthen your ties in real life. If you're always glued to this device, you don't know if what you're looking at is real or fake.
Speaking nothing but facts, bro. Like I said, this AI technology, man, those deep fakes. Like I said, it's getting to the point where you can't even distinguish it, bro. You can't tell if it's real or fake, man. They coming out with these movies and TV shows, I guess now more recently. There was one that came out recently about, a movie starring Chris Pratt about how he got framed by AI. He had to prove his innocence, man. It's crazy, bro. The day's gonna come, bro. So we just gotta be ready.
I don't know where it's coming from.
The change.
Genuinely, what is this?
I hear it?
It just keeps going. What the fuck?
And she going straight towards it.
Oh my god!
You have to see this. So Congress just determined that every new car going forward has to include a kill switch, which gives them the ability to turn off your car if they so choose, that you are in a state of emergency. Really interesting. This is so Orwellian that Orwell himself would not believe it, and we need to start being very honest with each other as citizens of the United States. Our government, Congress, does not represent the voice or the will of the people, which was supposed to be their job originally. And if we do not fundamentally change the way our government behaves, we are forever lost as citizens because they're all bought and paid for, and they do not care about us.
I'll see you right there.
Texas people, they scared of snow? Oh, they stock it up, bro.
I'm right here.
Come here.
This is as close as I'm gonna get, babe. I think you're gonna bite my toe.
No. I'm not gonna hurt you.
What did you say?
You're so
Come
sweet.
here.
I'm a little bit. You're just so strong.
here.
You're so strong.
What's the matter?
I don't want you to bite me.
No. I'm not gonna hurt you.
Why you keep saying that, bro?
Oh,
She heard that somewhere.
No, baby.
what's the matter, darling?
I love you. I just said
Oh,
I think we just need some time before we do that, okay? See,
come
that's
here.
why.
What's the matter?
I still think you're gonna bite me.
No.
I'm sorry.
What's that?
See? That's why. See? You scared me. You tried to hurt me.
I'm not gonna hurt you.
But you tried to.
Darling.
You tried to just now, Barley.
What the heck? Oh, they crazy, bro.
Kim Jong-un has got some serious FOMO right now. 22 countries have now got militarily involved in the Middle East. But somehow, North Korea is not one of them. So, just to make sure that the world doesn't forget, he has bombs too. Yesterday, Kimmy, along with his daughter, personally oversaw the test of the strategic cruise missiles which they fired from their new 5,000-ton naval destroyer warship. And after they successfully struck some random islands off North Korea's west coast, their state media described it as a massive success. Bro even went on to do a photo op with his daughter and test out a bunch of the military's guns. Just a classic bring your daughter to work day. Now look, Kim, I don't know how we tell you this, but we've moved on to other supreme leaders now. I mean, it's not you. You're still hella scary and all of that. They just got the Strait of Hormuz, and it's massive. I hope you can understand.
I 3D printing that. That is two. Why is it raining rocks?
Yeah, it's raining rocks. I don't think that's a liquid. Is this what snow is?
No. Not to my knowledge. What is this happening?
Partly cloudy with a chance of rock. Oh, bruh. What is this? What is this, bro? Are you kidding me? What the is that, son? Ah! Remember, guys, the ocean has not been explored completely. Because people are saying that there's things like that in the ocean and much more. We haven't been down there, guys. We're on land. Remember that, right? Shut up! Now, we already know that the A's are in the W. Could that be an A? On Earth? Why does he have it in a bucket? Who is that guy? Stop playing with me, son. This video is for insane purpose only, and I don't think that video is real at all because it just might be AI. So they say. Shut up! I told you guys. We can't think everything is AI when it's not AI, when you know it's AI. Stop playing with me, son. It's not a game. I ain't got you. You know what it is. Shut up! But I tell you one thing. If I'm ever in the ocean and I'm with somebody and they find something like that and they say, yo, we're going to keep it. We're going to run some tests. Run some tests. You test my patience, homie.
Yep.
I accidentally knocked over and broke one of my mom's snowmen and realized it looked like something was inside. My dad decided to break it more so we could see what it was.
What's inside of it?
Why does it look like that? What is it?
Looks like something out of freaking Poppy Playtime, bro. I see the leg right there. That fish right there. I don't know what the hell that is.
You see, when you go down rabbit holes, you find shit that you really don't want to see. I keep telling y'all that fast food ain't the way to go, but y'all don't want to listen, right? Look at this shit. Look at this shit right here.
Travis, and I'm going to show you the shocking differences between McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's.
These are the different burgers.
This is my 84-day-old Wendy's cheeseburger.
Look at that.
It is completely rotten and disgusting, covered with yellow, green, and white mold.
Look.
It has been rotten and moldy since it was about 3 weeks old.
Now look at Burger King.
178-day-old Burger King cheeseburger. Like the Wendy's cheeseburger, it began rotting and molding when it was about 3 weeks old. And as you can see now, you can't hardly see it through the Ziploc because of all the mold and dust that's come off of it.
You see how Wendy's burger molded? Now you see how Burger King's burger molded?
Yeah.
What does that tell you? That tells you that they're using real products. Look at McDonald's burger.
This is my 343
days right there.
McDonald's cheeseburger. It basically looks like new.
I'm out. Do I need to continue? McDonald's, 6 million burgers a day. Almost 195 million burgers a month. You tell me. The next video, though, the information I got for that, you'll see. I'm out.
So nobody is talking about the fact that 2 oarfish, aka doomsday fish, just washed up on a beach in Mexico. Look at this shit, y'all. Look at this shit. One right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one right there. Y'all see how long that shit is? Pause. No Diddy. This can't be a good sign, y'all. Because these Jones live deep, deep, deep underwater. We are not supposed to see these. And they not supposed to see us. And every time these Jones washed up on the beach, something bad happened. So I just need y'all to pay attention. Because it's trying to tell us something. I'm just trying to understand why these Jones keep washing up.
Me too. Why the hell's the cat on the piano? He was actually good too. Alright. Friendly reminders to lock your doors. Okay, what's she doing? Oh, she trying to break in? What the hell? Don't leave a spare key under the mat, y'all. What the? Is that a knife in her mouth? Oh, she going crazy. Oh, she lost it. Now she upstairs too?
Alright, so if y'all never seen Final Destination, that car in the back of that trailer just hit a bump, and that shit just jumped like off, like it's about to fall off the trailer. I ain't getting behind the Joker, but I mean, I'm gonna come up on the side of him like, actually, I'm about to drive by. That motherfucker hit one more bump. That shit going down.
Not I.
That joint is crazy. Yo.
He said you ain't getting me, bro. I respect it.
Yo, that's crazy.
Imagine owning an Escalade, access to money, power, Google search, and you take it upon yourself during an ice storm apocalypse to fill two storage bins full of gasoline. Baby, those storage bins are for your Christmas decorations that you should have put away last month. Not unleaded. What do you imagine doing with those? You gonna just trap fumes with a lid and store it in your garage? They're just gonna eat through that plastic like a snack, baby. You're supposed to be purchasing snacks, Doritos, Chips Ahoy cookies, Tostito pizzas. That's what you're supposed to be purchasing, not 2 storage bins of gasoline. And then what? It's gonna catch on fire? Because our emergency personnel are taking care of exploding trees, not exploding garages. Your Escalade is about to be a $90,000 scented Yankee Candle is what's about to happen. Stay safe out there.
Remember when I don't know what she was buying all that gasoline up to like sell it. You know, I guess this weather, man, these snowstorms, bro. It's like anytime, bro, you need important stuff, bro. I remember because I was actually in the area where the snowstorm got hit. Didn't have the salt and stuff on hand, so I had to go buy some. They freaking jacked up the prices, man. It's like they jacked up the prices of the freaking salt, the shovels, all that, man. Because people, you know, buying them all up, bro. And, you know, the company saw to make a quick buck, and they took it. Crazy.
Appalachian hikers followed a whistle distress signal and found this.
The scary part isn't that this is real, which is very real. The first fleshly android being powered by artificial intelligence. The scary part is this. What we see now, they have had for a very, very long time. And you know how they say that 50% of the people living on this earth don't have an internal monologue, like they're NPCs? Do y'all really think that they aren't using these things today? I don't think people understand that we're living in a world where half the things that we see aren't real, at least the way that we think they're real. And speaking of this artificial intelligence, where did they get this intelligence from? This behind me is not the moon, it's the sun. You remember in April we had that crazy eclipse? That was weird for so many reasons, like, you know, the positioning of the sun and the moon. Well, right around that time frame is when we had this drastic change in artificial intelligence and AGI. And we know we had AI before that, but when it happened, it was a dramatic shift. Well, did you know that there's a lot of people that say that when that whole thing happened, there was a massive deal that transpired. And when that happened, we were given technology that we cannot control. So I guess my main question is, what exactly will this be used for? And if already, which I believe it is, what is it being used for right now?
I don't think they meant to air this, but they accidentally in the background have these two guys who are sponsored by Monster. I don't know if this is NASCAR, PT, whatever that is. They're pouring bottled water into the Monster energy drink cans to then drink on TV. I guess, you know, they got to keep their sponsors happy. A little bit deceptive, not a huge fan of that, but also don't make me explain to you why you please should not drink Monster. I'm not going to get into the details. All I can say is it would be better if you didn't.
They really didn't drink the drink. They get sponsored by it. I thought, man, you know, seeing those commercials, you know, all the big time celebrities and influencers, when they drink a drink, bro. So you mean to tell me, man, they was copping all this time? I'm just like, bro, if you're getting sponsored by something, at least I thought you would enjoy the product or used it before, man. It's real, bro. It's not what it seems.
So I can tell you, if you've ever had any kind of processed food or Monster energy drink or any of the conventional beverages today, there are phthalates, BPA, microplastics, pesticides, and more, which we should be thinking about detoxing out of our systems.
Come on. Show yourself on one of these thermal scans.
You go something? I know that's
Too scared, huh?
What we use the scans for.
What the hell was that?
You got it. I'm out. It's your house now. Take it.
Shit. Oh.
What the?
Oh my.
I see that.
What the?
Super slow-mo. Okay. Slowing it down for us. I saw footprints when she was backing out the room. And they just like blitzed her, bro.
See this right here? 100% fatality rate. Every motherfucker who ended up in there has died.
This terrifying video comes from Von Outside. I'll tag him below. And he's right, because this is what's known as the death machine. And what you can't see is an 8 to 10 foot wall under the water, which creates a current similar to a washing machine. And you would be lucky to get out alive, because these are the most dangerous types of dams. That's why if you're kayaking, you should always take a friend and carry rope. But in this next clip, you'll see how professionals train for this exact situation. But let me know what you think.
Oh, what the hell? He getting out of there, bro. You making it? What the hell? Okay.
Pick the door.
Pick a door. It's saying safe here, but I don't trust that, man. You going red, which I'll pick Seekers.
The door you choose will determine your job for the next 24 hours. Door 1, the terminal. An impossibly massive airport terminal from the 1980s, covered in dizzying carpet. You can walk for miles across the moving walkways. The giant terminal windows look out into pure, swirling television static.
Damn.
Your job is to wander the terminal and collect lost luggage. Inside the abandoned suitcases, you will find perfectly fresh, hot meals and cold drinks to keep you going. You must avoid the boarding gates at all costs. The massive shapes attached to the gates outside are not airplanes. They are breathing, unknown creatures covered in metal plating. If you hear the intercom chime, drop whatever you are holding and hide inside a luggage chute. It means they are boarding. Your
Okay.
pay is $76,000. Door 2,
Good money.
the Crimson High Rise, a towering skyscraper with thousands of open-air balconies. You have free roam of the building. Looking over the edge, you'll see a vast ocean of thick, red liquid. Your job is to collect the strange glowing moss that grows on the concrete wall. Eating the moss provides enough sustenance so you won't need regular food. However, pay attention to the red ocean. If you see massive, pale hands reaching up from the waves to grab the drifting buildings, move immediately to the interior stairwell. Do not let them see you on the balcony. Your pay is $54,000.
Watch this, y'all. Have you guys ever seen two hippos go at it? When I seen them hippos come behind a tree, I knew something was gonna go down, y'all. This is crazy. Watch these beasts go at it.
The hippos got beef, bro?
He picked them up by the lower jaws. Look at that. Do you hear the noise?
Oh, damn.
That sounds like bones. That sounds like bones breaking. And these things are indestructible. Look at this.
They just wash it.
People are trying to clap, trying to get them to stop, but they don't care. Look at these beasts. The only thing you can do at this point is look, because if these hippos just look at you the wrong way, I mean, you're just gonna collapse. You're just gonna collapse. Hippos weigh about 3,000 to 4,000 pounds each, and the aggression that hippos have, they show no mercy whatsoever. You can just be breathing the wrong way and they'll attack you, let alone just being in their environment. Hippo reminds me of our people when they get mad at you and they just look at you like this. And you know we coming for you. Look at the strength. This person chose wisely to stay away. What would you do in this situation like this, y'all? The shift is here. Let's get it.
The curdling facts that you wish you never knew.
Tell us about
Part 16. Kangaroos are absolutely terrifying, and if you mess with one, it will likely lure you into the water and attempt to drown you. There's an abandoned Disney park that you aren't allowed to go to, and it was shut down in 1999 because it was infested with free-roaming alligators. The animals were being abused, and an 11-year-old boy died from a flesh-eating bacteria found in the park's waters. In the movie The Wizard of Oz, the lion's costume was made out of a real skinned lion. This is the John Lawson house. No one knows who lives there, but every single day, there are several female mannequins sitting on the front porch wearing a variety of clothing. Their positions and outfits change daily, and many believe this is meant to convey some sort of message. And in 1871, a train crash took place just 200 feet away from the home, killing 22 people. And these mannequins are always pointing toward the crash.
Tap in, you're gonna learn some
Disturbing
facts with us.
that will ruin your life. There used to be real human remains in the Disneyland's Pirates of the Caribbean ride. There are at least 200 corpses on Mount Everest. There is no physical evidence to say that today is Sunday. We all just have to trust that someone has kept count since the first one ever. The human brain not only named itself, but it but it also recognized that it named itself, and was surprised when it realized that no one knows exactly how anesthesia works anytime they put you under for a routine operation. There's currently no scientific explanation for why you are unconscious. Hit the plus sign if these disturb you.
That last one got me about the anesthesia. So we're pumping our body full of medical supplies and stuff, but we don't even know how it truly works or functions. What happens if something goes wrong or something like that and they can't detect what's going on because they don't know the full extent of anesthesia? I'm pretty sure I pronounced that wrong, but you guys know what I meant. That actually shocked me, but that we still don't know the full effects of that. That's mind-blowing if you really think about it, man. And the fact that the brain named itself? Let's continue, man. Crazy.
These are 8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night. There are thousands of old diseases frozen in the glaciers of the world, and global warming will eventually release them all.
Oh, man.
If a person dies in their costume at Disney, like Mickey Mouse, they have to be sat down on a bench so it looks like they're resting. Climate change is making spiders bigger. Some female spiders allow their young to eat them alive. Tooth in the eye surgery is when surgeons put a tooth in a blind person's eye to restore their sight. It was pioneered in the 1960s, and it actually works, and it's still being done today. The chances of a successful CPR outside of a hospital is only 7%. Cell phones are 10 times dirtier than a toilet seat. When you suddenly wake up during the night without any reason, there was someone or something staring at you. Yeah, there's a lot more, like for part 12.
Tap in, man. Especially about the part with the cell phones. That's actually crazy. Watch you put your cell phone in.
The 5 countries in Africa with the strongest juju.
Okay.
At number 5, we have the Republic of Congo. Here, witchcraft is said to be practiced across all ages in the region.
Ooh.
In fact, in a 2013 report, a staggering 50,000 children were accused of witchcraft in the Republic of Congo. Most of the accusers claimed that these children had showcased bad behavior and were therefore possessed. Number 4, Kenya. The practice of witchcraft is said to have become so prominent in Kenya that it has been commercialized. In just about every suburb of Nairobi, you will find at least one advert, hand-painted on a little plate nailed up on a pole, advertising the services of a witch doctor. There are also numerous stories of Nairobi women using these witchcrafts to secure men. Number 3, Malawi. In Malawi, there are 2 districts where it is said that the residents partake in advanced levels of sorcery. It is rumored that there are men there who possess the power to travel from Malawi to the USA in seconds. Number 2, Zambia. It is said that the practice is very alive and well in Zambia. There have been several reports of severely sick Zambians who were healed completely after a quick visit to their local witch doctor or traditional healer. Number 1, Nigeria. Nigeria's exploits in this regard has gathered a lot of media attention over the years, with people said to be using witchcraft and sorcery to attain wealth, secure wealthy partners, and battle enemies. Fourth one.
Here's what would happen if you were born on a plane. Let's say you were born on Turkish Airlines. They would have to pay your tuition and you would have free tickets for life. And while flying over a country, you would immediately become a citizen of that country. That's cool. However, in special cases, the airline you are on will also grant you their citizenship. So hopefully, you're on a good airline.
So if you're born over, so I'm guessing if you're born on a plane or you're going over the country, you become a citizen, they said they have to pay for your tuition and get a free passport there? People about to be saving money, man. Whoever had if he can, kid on a plane where they get dual citizenship. I never knew that.
This is the last thing anyone expected. Just within the last 24 hours, footage of where Ryan Garcia had claimed to be kidnapped has just been released.
Oh, they took me to the woods, bro, and they tied. I'm not joking, bro. I have proof, bro. I don't give a.
Oh.
Bro, I will show you every video you could ever believe. Bohemian Grove is real. They tied me down and they made me watch, dog. I actually don't give a anymore. Yes, I lost it.
Now this is exactly why you can't be playing both sides, because after this video and audio footage was released, he had tweeted on how he has been going through some intense spiritual attacks and constantly fighting demons. And even if you look at one of his most recent conference gatherings, you can see him manifest from one person to another.
First, I want to give glory to Jesus Christ. I want to invite the Holy Spirit to come. I do drink, I do smoke. Now what? Alright, what if I came up there and I fuck out of you, motherfucker?
The orange cat, who was accepted by a herd of capybaras at a Malaysian zoo, has received his own official signage and is now an official resident of the capybara habitat at Zoo Negara. The cat's name is Oyen, and it's believed he lost his mother as a kitten, but he found his family in the capybara habitat, and he seems to think of himself as just another capybara. And the capybaras are just as comfortable with Oyen, happily welcoming him into the herd. He's been seen within the habitat for the past several years, and over time he's become so popular that some people visit the zoo specifically to try to catch a glimpse of him. Because he's such a beloved resident of the zoo, and he's made clear that he intends to stay with his capybara friends, he finally received his official signage in front of the habitat last month. Now, the capybara habitat is officially Oyen's home. Zoo staff has indicated that Oyen and the capybaras are happy and healthy with no signs of distress, so they're happy to let the friendship continue. And while Oyen has been spotted snacking on some leafy greens with his friends, he is fed his own cat-friendly diet by the zoo. I'm Jen, and I post something positive every day. And you can see more from Oyen and the capybaras on Zoo Negara's account, which is tagged and in the caption.
There are 800 dead people in this lake.
Come
That
again?
got your attention, didn't it, you sick son of a bitch? This is Rupkund Lake in the Indian Himalayan mountains. And this remote alpine valley is home to the skeletons of between 300 and 800 individuals. Their bones lie scattered along the lakeshore and constructed into grotesque sculptures by passing hikers. Since its discovery in the 1940s, countless papers, studies, and theories have been put forward to answer one simple question. What happened at Rupkund Lake? Why did so many unfortunate souls lose their lives in this remote mountain pass, and what happened to them? Now, if you've heard of this, you may think you're familiar with the answer, that it was a group of pilgrims that were struck down by hail. But recent studies have uncovered that the truth is much, much stranger. So tonight we're going to go over this mystery from top to bottom. Try and finally answer the question, what happened at Rupkund Lake? YouTube channel, Mini Minute Man. You only see me from short form content? Come check it out. It's like short form, but a lot longer. I'm gonna go put on my wetsuit, and I'll see you there.
Part 24
Man, what
is one of the
happened?
most horrifying stomachanophobia things I've ever seen in my life. This guy is named Brickley, and he's at Disney Springs, and he is a gigantic, huge, 50-foot long, 25-foot tall dragon entirely made out of Legos.
Whoa.
A lot of people, he might not be scary. He's kind of silly looking, but the fact that he is absolutely ginormous is actually horrifying to me. His massive head alone is about twice the size of a human being. Nope. He's also made of about 3 million Lego bricks. I know you think, like, oh, I could deck him. I could just make him explode. I'm pretty sure he's glued together with, like, super glue, so you couldn't do that. That was definitely my first thought, that I could take him in a fight. Also, he's been there for about 30 years, so you can see the corrosion starting. I can't imagine what it looks like underwater. How about this? Does this scare you, or is it just silly?
It's been there for over 30 years? I wonder who built it.
Never say this out loud, or you will die. There's a cursed Japanese poem called Tornado's Hell. And supposedly, if you read it out loud, you will die or be cursed for life. Now, you can read it in your head. This is where things get crazy. A man named Suji Terayama decided to make and direct a movie based on the poem. Exactly 1 week after the release of the movie, he suddenly dropped dead. By the way, y'all, I asked y'all to name our new baby, and the highest voted name was Steve. So I guess when this guy hatches, his name will be Steve. Since we got this baby together, you do owe me child support. Now this other story is also crazy. There was a schoolgirl that was dared to say the poem out loud. Look, you got friends daring you to do stuff like that. You need to get rid of them. Literally 1 week after doing the dare, she suddenly dropped dead. Woo, look at that, baby. Look at that. Sheesh. I flashed the poem somewhere in this video. But I'm telling you, if you find it, don't read it out loud. Or I'm gonna come to your funeral and tell everybody you're stupid. You're stupid.
I ain't reading that poem. Too many bad energy, too many bad signs.
The Power of Time. This sculpture at an abandoned cemetery in Poland is slowly being absorbed by a tree. The
Whoa.
black spots on this dog faded over 10 years. I didn't know it could happen. Bones now versus phones 20 years ago. Which one would you pick?
Ooh.
This father and his daughter and cat 10 years apart. Adorable. These two brothers returned to Chernobyl and recreated the same pictures after 30 years. And the tiny car was still there. Subscribe for more.
How the hell they get into Chernobyl? Isn't that where that it's like one of the most radioactive places on Earth? How the hell were they able to travel there? Were they even let inside there? It's crazy. And everything was still the same 30 years later? Just goes to show you, man, how nothing's around that place. It's completely desolate. There's the sky, man. We know we can spot the edits, man. When we see these clips, we can spot them, bro. We experts now.
Oh shit!
What the?
Yeah, that video's fake, but this is as real gets. Proof that dinosaurs never left, they just rebranded with feathers. Allegedly, this is a Steller sea eagle. Many would say the biggest eagle on Earth, although some would like to have a word. Matter of fact, here's the biggest eagle in your area code based on where you live. South America, you get the homicidal hippogriff, the harpy eagle. A buckbeak-coated middle finger to the food chain. Nature gave them short wings, and they used them to commit flybys in the dense jungle. They also have claws that could dap up a grizzly bear. With America, we got the golden eagle, also known as a final destination for goats and chamois. That's a chamois. This bird will make an honest attempt on the life of anything with a pulse, which is why they have a hit list of over 400 animals. The African crowned eagle is like the harpy of the motherland. Same short wings, same claws, same problems. They've also allegedly murked small children, and the famous Tongues child, which you see right here, is widely believed to have been escorted off the census by an African crowned. Wedge-tails are the dinosaurs Australia deserves. Not only will they run fades with kangaroos, they'll fly anything in their presence, and you're liable to get drone strike. This is the Philippines eagle. If you've never been flexed on by a bird, get absolutely mogged. It's a monkey eater that also has an argument for being the biggest op in the sky. Although they're in danger, so really they should be afraid of us. Moral of this video, the most devious trick dinosaurs ever pulled was convincing you they left in the first place.
Have you heard about this man who passed away while squatting 400 pounds? 33-year-old Justin Vicky was a bodybuilder and personal trainer with more than 30,000 followers on Instagram. Justin was a regular at the Paradise Gym in Bali, but on July 15th, 2023, he attempted to squat a total of 400 pounds, but things went horribly wrong. Mind you, this was all caught on camera, but I don't want to upload it because of TikTok's policies and I don't want this video to get taken down. But basically, during one of Justin's sets, he failed to lift the bar back up and it snapped his neck. He only had this person spotting him, which a lot of people have said that he should have had at least 2 other people on both sides to support him in case something like this happened. It was reported that the force of the weight broke Justin's neck and compressed the vital nerves that connected to his heart and lungs. He was rushed to the hospital where he unfortunately passed away.
You know, I don't think I really hate any animal. Every animal has a purpose, except this. I hate this bird, I hate everything it stands for. In fact, if he had an Antarctic Antichrist in its cast, that movie would have been a snuff film. This is a giant petrel, but if you're a sailor, you probably know it by its street name, the Stinker. Because this satanic seagull on steroids is a meal plan of rotting, decaying, disease-ridden foulness I can't even imagine. Or maybe I just don't want to. And like an air-conditioned vulture, they have the same table manners, meaning they'll pull up to a corpse and start eating it from the softest point. So if you ever peep this flying, confident, red-faced, no, it just got done tossing an expired elephant seal salad, which makes their choice in self-defense somehow more offensive. Press a petrol or its kid, and no projectile vomit, vile-smelling, corrosive stomach oils right to the face. Oils that are so acidic, they can actually strip the waterproof coating off other birds' feathers. You know, I said vultures, and that's not fair. These vultures usually wait for you to die. Petrels do no such favors. Pain paralysis demon will snatch up miners like Dan Schneider and rip them open alive. And remember, the Stinker will pull organs right out the poop chute. The freeze-dried booty bandit has been known to drown other birds like the Australian gannet. You wanna know what this predatory prostate exam is? This is if hyenas had wings. And don't think they just go after chicks. If they find an injured penguin, they will personally speedrun the process. Well, actually not speed, because again, the anal undertaker don't wait for you to pass tense. It's like the booty warrior from Boondocks came back as a bird. Blight to the animal kingdom with a negative rice purity score with a wingspan that can reach a shack. Alright, I'm done. They're not that bad. I just don't like the way they sound.
They're crazy, man. That's Black Air Force energy right there.
The red heifer sacrifice ritual. What is it really? let me summarize this for you.
Okay.
In Judaism, Jewish people are impure, and for them to be purified, they must sacrifice a very rare breed of red cows known as the heifers. Now, the cow must pass a certain list of criteria, like having no spots, never bred, must be a certain age, doesn't have black or white hairs, etc., etc. And then afterwards, they must light this cow on fire, involving some cedar wood and sage. I'm not really aware of the technicalities. But then they use the ashes of this cow for purification of the Jewish people. This sacrifice ritual must be done in Jerusalem, facing the third temple location, which is the Aqsa Mosque. These cows are super rare. The last time this ritual was done was 2,000 years ago. Israel has found 5 cows that meet this criteria in Texas. They bought them for $500,000 and then flew them to Israel over a year ago. And the sacrifice will commence in Jerusalem before the 8th of April, which is next week. But what is the purpose of this sacrifice ritual? Number 1, purification for Jews. And number 2, the coming of their Messiah. And to us Muslims, this Messiah is the Dajjal, the Antichrist. It is not the Messiah that we await. This is not an ordinary sacrifice. This is a sacrifice to the devil. I'm sure some of you will say in order for the Dajjal to come, he's not supposed to be mentioned in the minbar for many years. But I can argue with that because the Dajjal has not been mentioned on the minbar in most regions for many, many years. So is he coming?
Okay.
Probably, yes. If they do the red heifer sacrifice, destroy the Aqsa Mosque, and build a third temple, he will come.
A lot of information, man. Of those clips that were shown to us. It's crazy.
This is the scary story about the woman in the night. A young man moved into an apartment building. The first night he slept in his new apartment, he was woke up by somebody knocking on the door at 1 o'clock in the morning. He got up and opened the door, and standing there was a young woman. She apologized for waking him up and told him that she was his neighbor. She said her husband was beating her and asked if she could spend the night on the sofa. The man felt bad and let her stay the night even though it seemed strange. The next morning, he checked the living room and discovered that the woman was already gone. He assumed that her husband and her made up. But that night, at the same time as before, the same girl was knocking on the door. The man opened it and she said her husband had beaten her up again and wondered if she could spend the night on the sofa again. He said yes, and the next morning when he got up, the woman was gone again. The man grew suspicious and asked his landlord about the strange neighbor. The landlord's face grew pale and said nobody lives in that apartment. He said a woman who lived there died 1 year ago after being beaten to death by her husband.
So what the hell was going on? Was he like communicating with a spirit or something? Someone's playing like a sick joke? Because he kept coming to the apartment like the same night after night at the same exact time, dude. Is that just a story? Got a lot of theories swirling around in my head right now. After that clip played.
They kidnapped her for 44 days straight. Damn. The whole time, the 44 days, they were torturing her during these 44 days. It wasn't just those 3 guys that tortured her. Yeah, Denzel told me on the Yakuza, there was at least 100 Yakuza members who came and helped torture. One day, she caught them slipping, got the phone, tried to call the police. One of the guys saw, slapped the phone out of her hand, and he was mad, right? So I think they took lighter fluid and burned parts of her. The crazy thing is, she survived that. No way. Yeah, a couple days went on. They were playing a game. The girl beat the guys at the game. They're even more mad. They're like, what the fuck? So her again. This is when she died, and then I think to end the story, they put her in this little like casket thing where there was cement, and they buried her alive. I think the police found out. The main guy, he was locked up. Yeah. But the other guys, the police didn't want to put out the names because they're all minors that did the shit. So they're all free right now. Damn. Yeah.
Terrifying sounds extinct animals used to emit, and the last one's the worst. If you don't know this extinct mega chicken, you must be living your life under a rock. This is a dodo bird. 3 feet tall, 45 pounds, and a pair of chicken wings that are more useless than a penguin's. It can make an omelet for a family and produce a sound that would cause me to move to Mars. The lizard that got into your bag of trend, the Velociraptor. Or should I say Jurassic myth, because they didn't look like this this at all. Hollywood lied to you.
Oh.
At least the film's fuck-up looks more like a Utah raptor. This is actually what a velociraptor looks like. It's basically also just a giant chicken. Moving 25 miles per hour and hunting in packs isn't the scary part. It's the way they sound. The only difference between this next animal and my meat is that it went extinct, the Titanoboa.
Ooh.
And if this BGC's length at 50 fucto feet isn't impressive enough, how about its 3 feet in girth? This twisty telephone pole could squeeze at 400 psi, crushing any 20-foot crocodile that lived at the time.
Ooh.
And this no-bro makes a sound like no other. The extinct blubberbuzz that used to swallow the megalodon, the Leviathan whale. This living sea monster is a distant cousin of our daily sperm whale. Except unlike the living load we have today that primarily consumes giant squid, the Leviathan had no predators and ate everything. And the sound alone is enough to terrify me. Congratulations, you made it to the final animal. And I'm sorry you have to hear this, but the T-Rex doesn't actually look this way. Real-life Reptar looks much more terrifying with a haircut like Grandpa. And boy, do I have news for you. Their arms weren't useless. It said that they could have bench pressed up to 400 pounds. And did I mention they can also swim? The sound they made is weird, but the closest relative they have alive today is also weird. It's the chicken. I'm so sorry it had to end this way. Enjoy.
What?
It did to us. It started with the milk in school.
And you know what I think? I think it all started in the milk in childhood. Why for lunch did they make us drink milk? Why didn't they give us water? Wouldn't it have been more expensive to get cartons of milk instead of bottles of water? They were putting some in the milk. They wanted all the kids to drink the milk. They were so strict about that, especially at my school. Had to drink milk or chocolate milk. You couldn't even get water unless you had a water bottle. And they'll be real strict about it. Like, they didn't like you filling up your water bottle. Why you don't want to drink no milk? Breakfast Club forced us to eat breakfast, milk, cereal. Because think about it. Why, like, genuinely, why are we not drinking human milk? Like, milk from titties? Well, obviously because they produce cows for milk, so they couldn't be producing humans. Like, we wouldn't have enough humans. But think about it. Like, somebody was so thirsty that they walked past a cow feeding its baby and bent down and said, "Oh, let me get some of this." Drank it. That shit.
It is really crazy once you think about it, how hard the schools went into making us drink milk. Okay, drinking it for breakfast is somewhat understandable, but for lunch, you want me to drink milk for lunch? I don't know. We might be tripping, y'all. Stay weird.
I started this new series because 2026 is becoming the year where we can't tell whether these videos are real or they're AI. But like every other video that I'm sharing with you, this video looks too real to be fake. Just viewer discretion is advised. The following video is of an individual tearing off his face. You heard what I said. And underneath the face he's removing is the face of an alleged alien. And a lot of people that have seen the video are claiming that it's actually real. And then there are those that are claiming that it's AI. Once again, viewer discretion is advised. Take a look at the video for yourself. Take a look at this.
You know that's cap. Has to be AI.
What is going on there? So, what are your thoughts on this right over here? That looks very real. Is it real or is it AI?
Yeah.
Now, just a heads up to that video I just shared with you. I found other videos like that just as well that look too real to be AI. But then again, I could be wrong. What are your thoughts as to what you think that is? Because remember, as I stated in other videos, they've already said that those things are walking amongst us already, and that they possibly could be getting us used to seeing them, so we're not surprised when they show up. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
I still think it's AI though. Y'all seen that on y'all TikTok feed? Let me see. Well, I saw the NASA one. I give him that one. I ain't gonna lie. This is crazy work right here, bro. Goon Collection. It's crazy work, man.
Leaked video footage, allegedly originating from the Uintah County Sheriff's Department, located just miles from Skinwalker Ranch, have surfaced online, and they're sending shockwaves through the paranormal community. Focal light right there.
The hell is that?
Back up. Move. Grainy body cam footage reportedly shows officers responding to reports of movement near an abandoned property when a pale, emaciated figure appears from the darkness. Witnesses describe its elongated shoulders, ashen skin, and narrow, claw-like feet that click against the gravel as it moves. Officers can be heard gasping before the entity darts behind a fence with inhumane speed. Experts and skeptics alike are baffled, with some calling it evidence of a dogman-type humanoid, a creature long dismissed as internet folklore. In the audio, one voice whispers, "What is that?" moments before the video cuts abruptly. Whether an elaborate hoax or a glimpse of something never meant to be seen, the Uintah County leak adds yet another chilling layer to the dark legend surrounding Skinwalker Ranch.
Honestly, I thank Drewski for this skit. I think this is what the church needed, considering the fact that this is how the world views mega churches. And they don't view it as mockery. They view it as this. When I watch this, this is exactly what I see. Being inside of mega churches and seeing from afar. This was so spot on, and I am not offended. And I also don't think he was mocking God. I think he was mocking what the church has become. And we are a laughing stock. The mega churches are insufferable, most of them at least. I hope that this acts as a conviction to the pastors at the mega churches and the personnel at the mega churches to let you know that something needs to change, because this is the way they view us. Money hungry, right? Rude, only want to help people if they're helping you. So very conditional, very blasphemous, do not follow the word of God, very lights, camera, action, very Showtime-esque. This is what the megachurch has become. And it's running so many people away from the church and from God. And so I think this Juicy skit was brilliant to bring conviction to the megachurches in America that hopefully wakes them up from what we just saw in that skit. Because if you have been around a megachurch enough, you have seen everything that has been in this skit. And I mean everything.
What do I think, man, of that Juicy skit? I heard like to say, you know, some people got offended, but I think he hit the nail on the head. I think he said, this is what I guess people, well, regular people see, man, when they see those mega churches, man. He was thinking, dip down and Christian Dior had all that money and stuff, doing all those antics in his skits. But hey, man, people, like you said, were saying that's true. That's how people view the mega churches, bro. That's why he said, I guess some people, they stay away from that. Gotta get back to smaller churches, bro. Better connections, man. Get back with the people.
This was captured in Zuma Beach, California, in Malibu. Actually about 35-40 minutes from where I live. It was captured by Surfing with Ben. Who can tell me what in the direct energy weapon is going on here? I've spent many days at this beach and I've never seen this lasers. Just wondering what they're for. Now, it doesn't mean that there's something malice or it's extraterrestrial, even though right off of this lagoon, this coast here, lies the Malibu anomaly. If you don't know anything about that, look it up. But if anyone has answers of why these green laser lights are beaming in Malibu, please let us know. Unanswered Universe.
Wow.
One of the things that I learned from whistleblowers from the cabal itself is that they have to work within something they call the rules. And this is very, very important. Rules state that they have to tell us what they're doing. Therefore, if we allow it to happen, we have consented to tyranny, we have consented to enslavement. Now, if you get into the secret history of the cabal. Queen Elizabeth's royal astrologer, a man named John Dee, who is the prototype of the wizard with the long beard, the hat, and what he did was to rediscover, through these ancient documents that were in the Vatican, the technology of how to access what they considered to be spiritual beings that were useful to them, but what we would consider to be demonic or evil beings. These beings need to be accessed through a very complex set of rituals and ceremonies. You cannot just ask for them to show up. You have to follow very elaborate and specific protocols. So John Dee rediscovered the technology of how to draw the magic circles, how to say the right incantations, how to actually do black magic on a governmental level. This is what people are going to have so much trouble with once disclosure happens, is that these people actually practice black magic.
The Matrix and the Forbidden Knowledge volumes, 1 to 5, all 1,200 pages, teaching you mind-blowing symbolism and how the system works. Click the link in bio when you are ready. On sale now for just $19.99.
I learned that in Ghana it has become popular to bury people in coffins that represent what that person was known for. For instance, if you're a pilot, you'd have an aeroplane coffin. Or a Coca-Cola addict, be buried in a bottle of the good stuff. You see, in Ghana, rather than seeing death as a sad thing, funerals are celebrations for the life the person has lived. And because of this, death has never been more fashionable. They ditch the boring regular costumes and use the coffins to reflect the person's profession, passion, or status. Bit awkward if you're an OnlyFans model. In fact, they have become so popular that they are now being exported to other countries like the United States and areas in Europe. The question is, when you die, what would your coffin be?
So, who is Erica Kirk? And who are her family?
I did not expect that. It would leave me wondering if Charlie really was a contemporary Truman Burbank.
Tell me what's happening! You're part of this, aren't you?
Imagine if you could make one half of your family truly obscure at best, or completely indecipherable at worst. Who and what you are related to would be impossible to distinguish, and so remember that for later. We have to try taking one last look at her family, but this time not at her parents, although they might have been involved. Instead, this time we're going to look at her roommate, which seems unexpected, but let's go. Based on a bunch of comments ranging as far back as 10 years ago on Erica's various accounts, we see a common thread that this same female is commenting on Erica's posts, and she just so happens to look like Erica's roommate, who appears in these videos. And her name is Nicole Rothstein. And Nicole is actually not just her roommate or soulmate or best friend, whatever she calls her. Nicole is also Erica's cousin. And this is going to become a much bigger deal as we move forward.
For centuries, the Rothschilds have been visible and untouchable. Questioning their role in currency manipulation, economic crashes, or political influence is routinely labelled anti-Semitic and off-limits. Which is awkward, because the Rothschild family themselves enjoy boasting about all of these things. Just like Erica Kirk's bizarre behaviour. The controversy isn't that people talk about it. It's what's been scrubbed from public record.
Inside the bullet, a layer of soft metal is wrapped around a tiny, super hard steel spike. And when it hits the bulletproof vest, the soft metal flattens and peels away, leaving the steel spike intact, meaning all its energy focuses on the very tip of the core. The vest's woven fibers spread the impact across the weave, but the spike slips between them, and the point drives through the fibers and any metal plates behind it. So while a normal bullet would be stopped on impact, the spike punches straight through it and into the flesh on the other side.
Tell him what the trouble is. I gotta become Massa, right? Massa! Protein, right? Protein! What's protein? It's protein! What's my name? Nyangulo. Nyangulo Republic.
You gonna do it?
Nyangulo.
You going crazy, Speed.
It's Saudi.
Oh my goodness, he did it. The mad lad.
I'm good. I don't know. Protein good. Oh. China didn't have blood.
I'm really myself. I'm finished trying.
Would you do that, man? We know Speed's traveling to Africa right now. That's world tour. I don't know how many people would do that, bro. Speed, man's hardcore, bro. Tell me that below, man. Would you drink that, bro, to become, I guess, a part of the... He had to do that to become a part of the official tribe? Become an official member? Would you do it? Or would you just have to turn that down? Well, they tried to give it a double back. He's like, nah, I'm good.
Tell you how generational curses is passed down from generation to generation.
These are placed inside the jar, and the lid is then sealed.
The lid represents the limitation mindset.
They are left undisturbed for 3 days.
Limitation mindset now.
We follow their example.
And as y'all can see, fleas can jump up to 7 inches in a distance up to 13 inches. But once the fleas was indoctrinated that you can't jump higher than a jar, then that same limiting belief was passed down to the next generation and the next generation. And it only takes one generation to break the cycle and be able to reach our fullest potential. Y'all let me know what y'all think about in the comments on how these limiting beliefs is passed down from generation to generation in the comment section. Like and follow for more wisdom and stay tuned.
I'm not understanding right now. Why is people surprised by this? Why is this headline surprising a lot of people? So both Bill and Hillary got subpoenaed to come testify in court. And what did they do? They said, nah, they refused to do it. Why else would someone refuse to do something that they know is deemed to be right? When your face is all over the pictures that's in the documents. So one of the most powerful political couples get called to testify and they ducked it. Telling y'all, fool. Evil. Are they afraid that when they go there, people gonna find the truth out? So as of right now, they're thinking about holding them in contempt. And I don't even know why they're thinking about it. It should happen. If they don't want to come testify, they don't want to get on that stand, they need to be in jail. But I hate keep talking about these files because at the end of the day, they're using that to play against us, fool. Every time it's another headline, what do? The Epstein files, and then they show us nothing.
You know how they say you shouldn't sleep with your phone screen on facing you?
Yeah.
Because somebody could be watching you? Well, 2 women said that in the middle of the night, they woke up and saw somebody watching them on their phone. You heard what I just said? 2 women said they woke up and saw a man on their phone screen that was watching them. Oh, you don't believe me, right? Look at this shit.
Last night I experienced something that was, well, it was this morning and it was kind of scary. There was a lady on here, on TikTok, that said that we should not sleep with our phones facing us because she woke up to a man staring at her.
This shit is crazy.
And that actually happened to me yesterday or this morning at 4 a.m. I went to sleep around 1 and woke up to a sound of microphones. It was a man. And he was on my screen. He basically mapped into my phone. And I think what he was doing was poking me to wake me up.
So basically, people are trying to hack your phone while you're asleep. But here's the thing. They need you to have access to your phone. And if you've seen the whole video, she was saying that she didn't give him access to the phone. Giving him access to the phone would be opening her phone, unlocking her phone. And once they have that access, they can take everything that you have. What's even scarier is if they can get in your phone, get access to your phone, watch you while you're asleep, they know exactly who you are, which means your personal information is theirs. And if they're close enough, they might be able to come to your house. Y'all better pay attention. I'm out.
So you're telling me that this whole time my gut and my brain have been secretly talking to each other without my permission? Entire my gut was low-key controlling me? Oh wow. Now I understand. They are literally in cahoots.
Why didn't y'all tell us that pasta comes from India as well, y'all? Like, you have no idea how much I was hoping that this had nothing to do with food, right? I don't even eat pasta anymore.
But the fact of the matter is, I see how and where it's being created. It's not in Italy, right? Where probably food in the area is a little bit more sanitary and hygienic. But no, it's coming from India. Why are we finding out so many things that we dabble in comes from India? So you're telling me we have nobody abroad in India, like a foreign trade zone operator, to make sure that the food that we are getting from India is made in a sanitary location? Nobody? So you're telling me that the people who run our country is okay with America getting the bottom of the bottom when it comes to food? I mean, it makes sense because when it comes to money, like, we don't get nothing from our government. But yeah, y'all, we have been lied to once again because
there are 1,700 new millionaires in America every day. There are already 25 million people in the United States that are millionaires today. This means that 7.5% of the United States is a millionaire. Singapore has the world's highest percentage of millionaires in their country, with almost 20% of the entire country having more than $1 million US. Annual supply of water bottles can cost up to $200 a year, while tap water will only cost you 33 cents. King Charles made $34 million in rent income last year. Walt Disney fired the creator of Goofy because he tried to start a union. Money laundering wasn't a crime in the United States until 1986. Due to how much money they generate, 42 buildings in New York City have their own zip code. When we're tempted to buy something, thinking about how many hours it's going to take to afford that thing usually helps us stop.
You spitting, bro. You about to buy something important? Think how many hours, man, go down the drain getting that unnecessary purchase, man. Also, Singapore, bro, 20% as a millionaire, man. Shoot, I might have to move there, bro. Man, my child, I need to crack that. I'm trying to get into that millionaire percentage. That's insane, man. That 20% over there has millionaires. Crazy.
If you are a family influencer or post your child on social media, here are a few things you should never do in my own opinion. Number 1, might be common sense, but never post your child in a bathing suit. It's disgusting how many of these Instagram accounts exist that just solely share these types of photos and even have their own groups and communities, so just don't. Number 2, having your very young child's own Instagram page. For example, the LeBrant family. They have an Instagram account for each of their very young children, and just because it's managed by mom and dad does not mean it stops thousands of sick individuals from following the account and using their photos for exploitation. Number 3, AI-generated photos are becoming more and more realistic, so think about that before you post a picture of your child eating, crying, or honestly doing anything. When it comes to this type of inappropriate content, people will do anything to get a photo. Honestly, as someone who has talked about true crime stories for over 3 years, I highly suggest you never post your kid on social media. If you have other tips, please comment that down below.
Let's talk about this brave man whose life was taken while he tried to protect his family at the Trump campaign rally. On July 13th, the 50-year-old Corey Comprador, his wife and 2 daughters attended the rally in Pennsylvania where Trump was speaking. The family sat on the stand right behind Trump when less than 10 minutes into the speech, the shooting began, and while Trump was hit in the right ear, 3 other people were also hit. These are 2 of the 3 victims, David Dutch and James Copenhaver. They were in critical condition but are expected to recover. Unfortunately, 50-year-old Corey did lose his life while he tried to protect his family. His wife Helen and his 2 daughters said that he died a hero, and the last words that he said to them was to get down before he threw them to the floor and covered them. Corey worked as a project and tooling engineer and was a firefighter of the Buffalo Township Volunteer Fire Company. After this tragic and sad incident, over $4.7 million has been donated to the victims, with Elon Musk donating $100,000 as well as Dana White and Kim Rock.
These are 8 horrifying facts
Madness,
that will
man.
probably keep you up at night. Sometimes you laugh, talk, and cry in sleep. It's often a spirit sitting beside you in bed. You are more likely to be bitten by someone in New York than to be bitten by a shark.
What?
A human head remains conscious for 20 seconds after being decapitated. If you search up this number on Google, you'll find people with their heads in fridges. Gelatin is made out of bones. That's right. The melted marshmallow in your hot chocolate is melted animal bone. It's good stuff. You have no way of really knowing if everyone experiences reality and consciousness the same way you do. If a panda finds a fresh carcass, they'll eat it. And last but not least, your phone is likely spying on you right now as you're watching this. Yeah, there's a lot more. Like for part 8.
What facts got to y'all, man? It's about the gelatin and the marshmallows for me. That was a edit.
Nearly ended up in the hospital, and not for any reason you think. Shout out to Nat Geo for sponsoring this video. I'm gonna change the way you look at sharks in less than 60 seconds. Let's get it. The author of Jaws, Peter Benchley, not only did he regret writing the book because of all the bad PR to sharks, he would dedicate the rest of his life to shark conservation. If Jaws were written today, the shark would be the victim. The Greenland shark is a slow-burn glacier guppy that can not only live for up to 400 years, they don't hit baby-making age until 150. 150, dude, and still young. Now, there's more than 500 types of sharks, so it's easy to miss one, like the chain cat shark, which happens to glow in the dark that's biofluorescence. The epaulet is a shark that disrespects the natural order by walking, using pelvic and pectoral fins to move around during low tide. Sharks use a type of camouflage called counter shading, meaning if you're above them, they blend into the dark abyss, but if you're below them, their light underbelly gets lost in the light of the sky. When you've been around longer than trees, nature gives you perks like that. That's Anthony Mackie. It is, and he and Ross Edgley and many more will be a part of National Geographic Shark Fest airing on Disney Plus and Hulu. Check it out if you're ready to see sharks be anything but the bad guy. Oh, that's right.
Not me, bro. He's going into underwater with sharks. Even with the cage, man, I do not trust that one bit. I'm sorry, Seekers. That's just me.
I wasn't lying. The sharks are fine, but the ocean slammed me against the bars of the cage like it owed me money. So, moral of the story, I'm not afraid of sharks, just the ocean around it.
This is why you should never take walks alone at night. In 2007, a girl was on a late-night walk when she looked at the end of the road and saw the silhouette of a man moving around very strangely. It was like he was doing the waltz, but he was moving towards her, so she was sketched out, crossed the road, and went the other way. After a couple minutes, she turned around to see what he was doing, and he was right across the street from her, now staring up into the sky with a huge grin on his face. Now totally creeped out, she turns around and walks about a half block before checking again, and to her horror, he's now crouched down right behind her. But luckily, he stands up, turns around, and kind of hobbles away, and then she notices something. The man had turned around and was now sprinting directly towards her. She runs to safety and now just hopes she never has to see that smiling man again.
Smiling man? You believe that story,
These are
Seekers?
scary facts about popular childhood movies, part 1. Next up, in the movie The Adventures of Milo and Otis, it's been reported that upwards of 20 cats were killed during the filming of the movie.
What?
There's a lot of speculation behind this, because the film somehow got the approval of the American Humane Society, despite not having their officers present during filming.
Whoa, man. We knew these freaking movies and TV shows had dark history, but I didn't know it was that dark. All those cats, man, just for a movie? You gotta watch what we pay attention to, man. These movies and shows. It's like it's always a dark origins behind them.
These are some extremely unsettling facts, and I found all of these on Reddit. Do you remember the movie A Land Before Time? Well, if you do, of course you remember this loving character, Ducky. Ducky was just adorable, that's literally it. But the backstory of the voice actor that plays Ducky is absolutely terrifying. The voice actor who played Ducky was actually killed by her extremely abusive father. During 9/11, we all know that a lot of emergency workers actually gave their lives trying to save people. But there was also a lot of dogs that did the same thing. So these dogs were going around trying to rescue people, but all they were finding were dead corpses. And this literally made the dogs depressed. So seeing this as a solution, a lot of the police officers and firefighters would bury themselves in rubble just so that the dogs would be able to find them and be able to rescue someone. Rattlesnakes are actually evolving to not have a rattle anymore. If they were to do this, they would become one of the more deadly snakes on Earth because they would lose the one thing that let us know where they are. So if you live in an area where there's a lot of rattlesnakes, I'd be careful because one could be lurking around and you won't even know anymore. But I'm sorry for you to make you think about that, but that's why.
Evolution, man. It's a scary thing.
This is why you should be scared of Ouija boards. A former Reddit user said that he used a Ouija board with results and let something into his home. He said that he has also been physically assaulted by this entity. He said that it started out with a feeling that he was being watched, doors closing and footsteps on the hardwood floor when he was home alone. All of this slowly progressed into being kept awake by something shaking the bed and pulling off the covers. He said that sometimes he even heard whispers of his name. The board would disappear for days on end and then show up in places that he never even put it. He became obsessed with it. Things got even worse though. He said that he began to see a black mass in the corner of the room and the silhouette of a man watching him from the doorway. One night, the paranormal activity escalated into a full-blown attack. He said that he had his hair pulled, fingers pricked, and that he was choked while being held down in bed. During the attack, he claims that this thing whispered into his ear in what could have only been Latin. After this event, he finally decided to have his house blessed. And fortunately, this entity hasn't shown back up. He said that he will never again play with one of those boards.
This is the case of
Not
the
me.
girl that vanished into thin air. Her name is Yuki Onishi. On April 29th of 2005, 5-year-old Yuki was out celebrating Greenery Day with her mother. It's a national holiday in Japan, and what they do is they go out, they celebrate nature, and they collect bamboo shoots. So Yuki, her mom, and 60 other people were out doing this. Yuki was so excited that she found her first bamboo shoot, she showed her mother, and then she ran off to find more. That's when she disappeared and was never seen from again. When they realized that she was nowhere to be found, they actually brought in search dogs and the police. This is where it gets really strange. The dogs followed her scent to the middle of the forest and then just stopped. The scent stopped in the middle of the forest as if she had just disappeared into thin air from that spot. To this day, she has never been found and no one knows what happened. If you want to hear some theories, come back for part 2.
Do you remember this
Scary.
horror game that no longer exists? Let's talk about a terrifying horror experience that was taken off the web. Hotel 626. More obscure horror games right here. This game is an example of lost media and the images are a little blurry, so bear with me. Hotel 626 is a horror game that was actually made by Doritos for a marketing campaign. You go through a series of disturbing events that take place inside of a hotel while you try to escape. But the name of the game actually means more than you might think. The 626 in the game's title stands for the fact that this game was only playable between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. every day.
Really?
Meaning you had to play this game at night. There was no other choice. Now, I did some research and there really is no way to play this game today. Luckily though, footage does still exist on YouTube, so at least we have that. Hotel 626 actually made enough of an impact that it received a sequel called Asylum 626, but we'll talk about that later.
It's lost medias, man. I wonder why did they take it down, bro? It was made by Doritos. It wasn't even like a regular game company. We're gonna have to go through that rabbit hole, Seekers, man. Figure out why it got taken down. That's eerie. That's an edit.
Interesting people you've never heard of. This man attempted to dribble a soccer ball 10,000 miles from Seattle to Brazil, but unfortunately lost his life after being hit by a pickup truck only 250 miles in. Disney co-founder Roy Disney went to Disneyland every single week with his grandchildren, greeting employees by name and picking up trash to teach them the lesson that nobody is too good to pick up trash. This woman sat at a table in a New York museum for 736 hours over 3 months, allowing anybody to come up and sit across from her and make eye contact with no speaking. This French woman was imprisoned by her family for 25 years in the late 1800s without seeing any sunlight. This man smashed the door of a cupcake store, sat for 15 minutes and thought about what he did, cleaned up his mess in regret, and then stole 6 cupcakes. The store owner saw everything on camera. Instead of pressing charges, he created a signature cupcake after him.
I want to go ahead and I want to discuss this Instagram story and what makes this diabolically creepy. So I'm not going to give the name. I blocked everything out because clearly they want to remain anonymous. Context is that somebody clearly broke into their old school. I don't know if it was their middle school, high school, whatever it was. And they posted this to their story, but pretty soon after, people started commenting about what they see in the background. You zoom in just a little bit, you would see that this person was not alone in that classroom. But before we take a deeper look at that photo, a huge thank you to Spyfly for bringing me this story. If you want to look up something about somebody, you go to Spyfly. How to become this one-stop shop where you can do background reports, you can look at arrest records, you can even do reverse phone lookup. Spyfly.com is going to be the place to do it. You can check the link in my bio for more detail. So back to this photo. I don't know if you can see this, but there is definitely somebody crouching in the background of this classroom. And if you still doubt me, I zoomed in and enhanced the picture for you.
Disturbing facts.
Somebody was
that
definitely
may ruin
there.
your day. This woman passed away in her home while watching TV and was not discovered for 3 years. Girls at a nearby camp danced in the falling white ash of the atomic trinity test when it was happening. 10 out of 12 of the girls that danced in the ash passed away before the age of 40. This man donated $100,000 to UCLA to bypass a queue for a liver transplant. 186 people in the Los Angeles area passed away waiting for this same surgery. This woman survived after her parachute failed to deploy just days after surviving a gas leak at her house. Both events were found to be intentional plots carried out by her husband. Hitler had a romantic obsession with his teenage half-niece. All of the members of your group chat will eventually pass away, leaving the group to just exist forever. We are one convincing deep fake away from a global catastrophe.
You guys believe that last fact? AI's getting advanced, so it's not out of the question.
Wait. You don't remember what she looks like?
September 25th, 1981, something very strange took place up in the Smoky Mountains. This is a picture of Pauline Melton, and it would end up being one of the last known photos of her. Because while Pauline was up there, she was with 2 hiking companions. They described that she, all of a sudden, without explanation, just started to rapidly speed up. They even described that they called out to her. They were asking, Pauline, where are you going? Pauline. She never answered. She never looked back until she crossed over a hill. Since that exact moment, Pauline was never seen again. And to this day, they still have no idea where she went and why she did it.
Terrifying true facts that will keep you up at night, part 2. Most people would consider ducklings to be relatively harmless and innocent creatures, but they can be more sinister than you might realize. When a group of ducklings starts to feel overcrowded, aggravated, or even just bored sometimes, they will often turn to cannibalism to solve their problems for them. This is a characteristic that they share with other animals we tend to regard as being cute, such as chickens and bunny rabbits. And speaking of cute, let's talk about babies. Up until the mid-1980s, doctors would routinely operate on infants without the use of anesthetics. This is because it was thought that babies couldn't experience pain. Also in the 1980s, CNN pre-recorded an ominous video meant to be published in the event of an end-of-the-world scenario. Comment if you think that video will be published during your lifetime, and follow for more.
What do you guys think? CNN made a whole freaking doomsday video. It makes you think what other freaking big media company corporations, man, have doomsday videos just ready for us. Hopefully, man, we never see that in our lifetime.
Creepy people who were caught on camera PT.1.
Yeah, why he lurking? No. Yeah, what the hell? Another one. can see. They know her? They knew something was up and they left. They felt that energy, Mo. Who was that running to him?
Creepiest home camera footage PT.3.
Whoa. It's definitely Crouch, man. Hmm? Shot collar was stolen. Why? Yeah, that's chilling. A man breaks into the house. You don't find no
This
trace of him.
priest tied himself to 1,000 colorful helium balloons and then was found in the ocean months later. On April 20th, 2008, 41-year-old Father Adiller DeCarli wanted to raise money to build a chapel in his hometown, so he chose to tie himself up to 1,000 helium balloons and float over the ocean. He also hoped to break the previous 19-hour record, but unfortunately, things ended tragically. On the morning of April 20th, Father Adiller was fully repaired to take off, and for safety reasons, he put on a helmet, waterproof coveralls, and an aluminum thermal flight suit, as well as a GPS tracker and a radio to communicate with people on the ground. Only a few hours after taking off, despite the radio and GPS tracker, Father Adiller disappeared and could not be located. The last thing that he said through the radio was that he was losing height and was going to land in the ocean. Search and rescue teams were immediately dispatched, and after 2 days, they found the colorful balloons in the sea off Brazil's southeast coast, but Father Adiller was not there. Then, a few months later, a body was found in the ocean, which turned out to be him. It was reported that the priest had reached an altitude of 20,000 feet and then was blown off course by the strong winds, causing his tragic death.
So with the amount of people that pass away in hospitals,
insane.
It's no surprise that they're reportedly full of a lot of paranormal activity. Some people even say that when there are many deaths occurring in a certain area, portals are opened up. And as these souls exit this world, other things, entities, creep in. A nurse who wants to remain anonymous said that she used to work in a skilled nursing facility. She was usually assigned the Alzheimer's ward. One night, she was in the linen room stocking her cart, and she heard someone shuffle up behind her. Then, she said she felt a hand on her shoulder. She turned around, and there was no one else in the room. A female patient started to complain that there was a man coming into her room late at night. Anonymous said that she was in the Alzheimer's ward, so she didn't think much of it. To reassure the patient, she told her that she would come check on her throughout the night. She complained of this man every night for 2 more weeks. The nurse finally asked her to describe him, and the patient said, "He's real handsome, and he wears a black suit. Oh, and he's right behind you now, honey." The nurse said that this freaked her the F out. Of course, there was no one behind her. The patient died the next night in her sleep. So these nurses and doctors really do have a lot of great supernatural stories, and I don't know what to think about that one, because she was, like she said, in an Alzheimer's ward, and Alzheimer's patients can hallucinate. But the nurse did say that when she heard someone shuffle up behind her, she also felt a hand on her shoulder. And I don't know, guys, this story is pretty creepy. The patient described the man as being in all black, yet very handsome. I know that the Grim Reaper is conventionally described as being in like a hooded cloak, but could this have been the Grim Reaper? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments.
Imagine getting this mad because your bubble tea was made wrong. Police were called to this bubble tea place after this grown man had a meltdown because his bubble tea tasted too bitter. He got so mad that he threatened to throw the drink at the worker and said some very offensive stuff in Korean. Then he tried to force the worker to drink the bubble tea that he just finished putting in his mouth.
You know the reason why I'm here. You know,
I do.
And I explained. It was so bitter to drink. I will explain. And could you check this? Could you try this? I told her, but she rejected.
Hey, first off, there's no reason to act like this over a drink. You're a grown man.
This is the worker, and she tried to find a solution by offering to make him a new drink or give him a refund, but this man was so mad, he didn't want any of that. He just wanted to fight. The workers ended up calling the police because this man was getting pretty aggressive, and when the police arrived and heard both stories, they were upset because this man was acting like a baby over a drink. Then this man called his daughter so that she can better explain the situation because there was a language barrier, and you would think that she had more common sense, but it seems that common sense does not run in this family because she was blaming the workers for everything.
There's bigger things in life to worry about than a damn drink that's bitter.
I know, sir. Sir, you're really discounting our shit.
But if then you go to another location. If I go to a restaurant and they offend me, I'm just not going to bring my business
I know,
there.
that's how you handle your problem. And this is how
You can't come in public and then cause a disturbance.
Sir, I understand. I understand what you're saying, and I understand that he was offended. You know, he may seem like really offensive, and you apologize. Okay, but when someone is really worked up, and there's no de-escalation of the problem, because they are not apologizing for the service, then we only get really upset.
Okay, he's got to be in charge of his own emotions.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't like the drink, then take the refund and don't come back. It's simple. It's so frustrating to see the entitlement and lack of awareness of these people. I felt so bad for this worker. She broke down in tears and apologized to this man so many times, but he wasn't satisfied and just wanted to continue to fight. It's so frustrating to see this, especially because she's working at a bubble tea place. She probably gets paid minimum wage and she has to deal with people like this. Going into surgery to try to fix a condition, but you actually come out looking much worse. Well, that's exactly what happened to 29-year-old Kayla Cannon. She was born with congenital ptosis, which is basically a condition where your eyes droop, and she wanted to fix this problem, so she went to a specialist, and then she came out looking like this. Kayla decided to get this procedure done with Dr. Harvey Chip Cole, who's located in Atlanta. This doctor made a ton of mistakes during this procedure, one of them being removing half of her eyelids, which caused a lot of tightness and left her looking like this. After the botched surgery, Kayla had a serious infection and could barely close her eyes because of how tight they were. And she had to undergo 7 additional surgeries to correct the damage, and she was left with these permanent scars. Kayla's devastated because she feels like she went through this procedure only to look worse than what she did, and this is the first time that this doctor did something like this. This is another patient who was also botched, and she came out right after Kayla spoke out about this doctor, and the crazy thing about this is that he is still practicing.
How is he still practicing after two botched surgeries, bro? They tried to get that to, I guess, they wanted to fix themselves, or they just wanted to look better, I guess, for their self-esteem, and look what happened. Don't trust these surgeons out here, seekers.
Telling you that nobody ever saw something. Not one of these people heard or saw something that they shouldn't have heard or seen. None of these celebrities knew what Diddy was doing. I mean, it's frankly very hard to believe. Everyone's been around that friend who gets a little too drunk and says something that they shouldn't. So you're telling me that P. Diddy never got too drunk, too high, too whatever, maybe even too comfortable around some of his elite friends and never said anything about what he was doing? I mean, for decades, P. Diddy has been a hardcore sexual predator, running a massive sex trafficking operation that has involved many, many minors. And still, nobody ever heard or saw a single thing?
I mean, with the amount of parties that P. Diddy was having and the people that he was inviting, these seemed like pretty big events that he would have to prepare for all the time. And it seems like one person in his organization would tell somebody something, right? Well, I guess not. We should just trust all of these people because they will always tell us the truth. At least, that's what we're told to do. But I don't buy it. Somebody saw something. And I think that there's a silence in Hollywood because not only are people complicit in this stuff, but there had to have been many, many dozens, if not hundreds of others who saw the signs, who saw the victims leaving P. Diddy's place, who were told things over drunken or stoned conversations, who just sat idly by the side and did nothing. And honestly, it doesn't get more disturbing than that. Just food for thought.
That one get taken
Things
down.
found in people's houses, part 1. Up first, a married couple moved into a new house when they decided to rip up the carpet and get a new one. But what they found underneath the carpet is absolutely terrifying. Underneath the carpet was a pentagram, which is a symbol of the devil and devil worshippers. This is extremely scary because the previous homeowners were definitely doing satanic rituals. Next up, a homeowner decided to move a mirror in his house when he discovered a camera behind it. There was a specific hole cut in the wall for the camera to fit, making you think whoever put it there did it to spy on the people living in the house. This is so chilling and disturbing, I would immediately move out.
Yeah, especially at the first house. Saw that pentagon? I'm out. Deuces, bro. That property is cursed, man. We definitely out.
Sea monsters are real, and there's a big one under the ocean. Let me explain. Bangladesh legend talks about an eel longer than eternity with a head the size of a town that could swallow up entire armies. They called it Anantashesha, but after strange evidence surfaced, officials got involved. But every attempt to study this monster was a catastrophic failure. Visions of eyes in the darkness haunted anyone swimming in the area, even long after they had gone home. Those that have seen the eel say it oozes a mysterious goop in the water that drives you to pure insanity. Tests were then run on the fluid and found it could be used as a powerful sedative and memory-wiping amnesia serum, Amnestix. Though its full length has never been observed, it's theorized to be about 1 megameter in length, or roughly the size of France. Big water noodle. However, right now it is fully motionless, with studies saying that it's currently sleeping, meaning you could swim right up to the thing until it wakes up. See, this isn't just an Anantashesha. This is SCP-3000.
This is the last photo of Chris Creemers, a Dutch tourist that went to Panama on a jungle hike with their friend in 2014. The mystery of their disappearance still remains unsolved today, so let's talk about what we know. So this photo was taken on April 1st, 2014. When the parents of Lisanne Froon, the friend that came with her, and Chris Creemer's parents stopped receiving updates, they got worried and traveled to Panama to find their daughters. They were accompanied by police when they arrived on April 6th, and they scoured the forest for 10 days trying to find their daughters. Now, after about 10 weeks or 2.5 months, a woman turned in a blue backpack belonging to Froon. It had a camera and a phone in it. Creemer's phone was turned on intermittently between April 5th and 11th with the incorrect pin being entered. Froon's phone died on April 4th. What they found in the photographs was disturbing. 90 flash photographs were taken intermittently between 1 and 4 a.m. One of the last photos had Creemer's hair with blood all over it, and it was a photo of the back of her head. 2 months after the back were turned in, they discovered some bones. They found a pelvis bone and a foot bone, and upon analysis, it belonged to Froon and Creemer. It's even weirder, upon all of the bones and the findings they found, there are no discernible marks of trauma or any marks on their bones at all. So it's still a mystery on how they might have died. And it still remains unsolved 10 years later today. Froon's bones appear to have skin on it still, and then Creemer's bones appear to have been bleached. Because of the cleanliness of this scene, I don't think an animal got to them. That was my initial thought on reading this story. I think somebody who does this a lot got to them. Because somebody did this very swift and clean, and they really left no evidence to be found. This story is one of those cases that keep me up at night. Let me know what you guys think about this case in the comment section below, and as always, these videos are for informational purposes only.
Here are some
I'll
news
keep me up
you
at night.
actually want to hear. Alright, firstly, Spain has pre-approved a law that gives pets equal rights as humans. So by law, if you see a pet on the street, you have to treat them the same way as a child.
Next, do you all remember the Success Kid meme? Well, from this meme going viral, this young boy was actually able to pay for his father's kidney transplant that was over $100,000. Now, believe it or not, but archaeologists actually found the real tomb of Santa Claus. And yeah, it might not be the Santa Claus you're thinking of, but the original one. His coffin was found under a Turkish church. Moving on, Portugal has made it illegal for bosses to contact employers after work hours. When is this going to go global? And finally, the dodo bird went extinct in the 17th century. However, after a DNA breakthrough, scientists say this bird could come back to life in the next couple of years.
I'm kind of iffy about the last one, especially with the dodo bird. When you mess with the ecosystem like that, you don't know how that could affect everything else, man. It went extinct. Just let it lie. I don't like when they be messing with the laws of nature.
Just a cigarette and it cannot be that bad.
Honey, don't you love me? And you know it makes me sad.
Just a cigarette like you always used to do.
I was different then. I don't need them to be cool.
Weird
I remember
facts
the
you
Chris
did not
Wallace
know
one.
about. In 1981, 3 young men found the murdered body of a woman laying in a roadside ditch in Ohio. She was known as the Buckskin Girl because of the poncho she'd been wearing, but police struggled to identify her for decades. That was until 37 years later, in 2018, when DNA analysis identified her as hitchhiker Marcia King. Her mother had still been living in the same house, with the same phone number, never giving up hope that her daughter may return home one day. Marcia's murder remains unsolved, but the case is still open. In a form of doping known as boosting, wheelchair athletes with spinal injuries will sometimes intentionally injure themselves. Below the waist, they cause their bodies to respond by raising blood pressure, thus enhancing their performance. Techniques include clamping down on a catheter to overfill the bladder, breaking toe bones, and administering electric shocks to the legs, feet, and testicles. Boosting has been completely banned by the International Paralympic Committee since 1994.
This is the story of the Silent Man.
Interesting.
In 2014, a 51-year-old man in the UK named David Hampson decided to stand in the middle of a busy road and block the traffic. The incident was then reported and police officers arrived at the scene to see what was going on. But when they tried to talk to David to get him to move, he wouldn't say a word and just stood there, so they arrested him. From his arrest to when he was brought to court, David still remained completely silent and wouldn't even talk to his lawyer. Although since no one knew his motives and he hadn't actually hurt anyone, David was let go soon afterwards. But all he did was just go back to that same street and stand there, silent, once again. And he committed this same crime over and over again for the next 7 years, never saying a word to anyone. Even though he was jailed multiple times, every time he was released, he would just go back to that same street and do the exact same thing. All the doctors who had tried to help David failed because he refused to speak to them. And it was reported that the only time anyone had ever heard him speak was when he was giving food and water, and he said thanks. Finally, in 2020, David was given 3.5 years in prison for his actions and is still yet to speak to anyone on why he did it.
Why was he silent, bro? Why was he not talking? That's the real question we need to be asking. He got 3
Here are the
5
creepiest
years for
things
not
kids have
talking.
ever said. And before I tell you these, I feel like I'm obliged to say, I'm so sorry. First up, we've got monster under the bed. One night, a young girl couldn't sleep because apparently there was something under her bed. When her parents came into the room to say go back to sleep because there's nothing under her bed, she replied with, I know. He's behind you now. Like, I'm sorry. Next up, a 4-year-old girl was found in the bathroom by her mum with all of her Barbies. But she was making them float face down in the bath. When the mum asked what she was doing, she replied with, the man in the wardrobe told me if I didn't do it, it would be my turn to swim face down. Next up, a 3-year-old boy was softly singing in a room while colouring in a picture. His mum actually stopped to listen because she'd never heard the song before. When she asked where he learnt it, he said the lady in my bedroom sang it to me. And finally, a 5-year-old asked his mum when he was going to be 23. His mum said in 18 years' time, and he replied with, well, I hope I don't die again, as that was how old I was the last time I went to heaven. Tell me which story made you go, what the fuck the most? And share this with friends, just creep them out because you're a good person. Now everyone with me. Elon!
The last one for sure. Blew my
5
mind.
days ago, these two girls made a TikTok saying they found a dead body in the morning. But the thing is, they weren't lying. Two girls from Texas, aged 17 and 16, made a Snapchat of them stealing jewelry off of the dead body of a man they found in a drainage ditch. In the video, Bethany Martin, the 17-year-old, took the necklace off of the man's corpse and gave it to her friend who was recording. The younger teen told police that she put the medallion on her own gold necklace because it matched her fashion style. Both girls have been charged with theft to a human corpse, and police believe the man's death was a suicide.
If y'all saw that, why would you take the duty seekers? You gotta call that in and report, man. Why do people just think about themselves, man? This world nowadays is just unbelievable to think about.
True Horrifying Story Part 30. This story took place in Medina, Saudi Arabia in the year 2001. And the person who said this story is Dr. Yasser Qadhi. He's someone that is known in the community of the Islamic Da'iyas. There are exorcists from all religions, Muslims, Christians, and Jewish. And their job is to perform an exorcism session on a person who is possessed by a demon or a jinn. When Dr. Yasser was a student, he studied in Medina. There was a known exorcist that practiced ruqya for many years, and Dr. Yasser wanted to learn from him. Back at the dorm of the Islamic college, there was a student that is a fresh convert, just recently converted to Islam. He barely knows anything about the religion, small bits of the Quran, does not know the ahadith, and doesn't know the big scholars in Islam. One day, the students were reading Quran out loud back at the dorm, and this new convert student starts to scream and roll on the ground. They knew he was possessed, so they called Dr. Yasser. Now remember, Dr. Yasser was still a student back then. He was not an expert in exorcism. He goes there and has a 2-hour session of ruqya, the ruqya that he recently learned, trying to kick out the demon out of this kid's body. As he reads Quran, he would see an alien-like movement on the kid's body. His skin would ripple up and down. A human being cannot do this intentionally. He would follow the movement with his hands, reading the Quran, and he would see it move somewhere else. After the session was over, the kid looked fine, and they got lunch for everyone to eat. They say Bismillah, and they ask the new convert to join them for lunch. He said, "I'm not hungry, it's okay." As they were eating, one of the students drops a piece of his food on the ground and ignores it. The convert student immediately jumps like a snake, picks it up and gobbles it down with his left hand. Dr. Yasser lets the food go and gets up, knowing that this kid is still possessed. He tries to intimidate this demon by shouting, "I'm gonna bring Sheikh bin Uthaymeen to read on you." Now, Sheikh bin Uthaymeen is a huge Islamic scholar, and he passed away around that time in January 2001. This kid laughs hysterically with a raspy demonic voice. He gets up and he asks, "Are you going to bring him back from the dead?" This is when they all realize that this wasn't a human entity that spoke. How can this new convert know who Sheikh bin Uthaymeen is? And why would he say he's not hungry but ate food that dropped on the ground? And how was his skin rippling? Jinns can harm you, and the harm is tangible. This is not a joke. Being possessed is very real. Even to exorcists, it's very dangerous, and only people with very strong faith can do it.
Creepiest home camera footage. In 2017, a mother in Billings, Montana woke up in the middle of the night to a notification on her phone. Her phone was synced to a baby monitor she had set up in her infant daughter's room. On this night, upon being alerted, she opened the app expecting to see her daughter awake in the crib. But instead she saw this. A man she didn't know is seen crouched down in the room. She saw this and ran to the room to retrieve her daughter and run out the house. She didn't see anyone in the room but wasn't exactly looking. When she called the cops, they arrived and conducted a search of the home but didn't find anything. A very odd detail is that it was found that nothing but the remote to a dog shock collar was stolen from the house. Who this man is and how he got in the house is still unknown.
Be careful. You never know, man, who's in there lurking. She got her daughter and ran out. Smart move.
Submechanophobia is a fear of human-made objects submerged in water, and this could be partially or entirely underwater. So something like a ride where the animatronics come in and out of the water would trigger this. Some of the popular imagery associated with this fear comes from a Japanese folklore park, where a trio of river monsters rise out of a pond. Someone with this fear also may not like the idea of an underwater shipwreck. They may even not like the idea of a buoy. A part of submechanophobia is that people are scared that they could get stuck next to or underneath the underwater object, or that something more dangerous might emerge out of the foreign object, like a body or something, especially if the object is old and abandoned. This could also maybe lead you to believe that it is haunted.
Yeah. You guys had that fear of objects in the water? I think I'm okay with that.
I have a few more pieces of information to add to the video that I made about missing aspiring LA actress Chanel Banks. This is coming up on your For You page and you don't know what I'm talking about. Go watch the video, but also here's the synopsis. 36-year-old Chanel Banks has been missing since before Halloween. Her cousin is looking for her. Her husband has not been very cooperative. He says he tracked her AirPods to Texas. Police went to Texas. They found someone who says they are Chanel. The body cam footage was seen by the cousin, and she says it is not Chanel. Anyways, the cousin has made a GoFundMe. I think it is for private investigative services and also for the cost of living and eating and stuff while she is in LA because she does not live in LA. But in the description of this GoFundMe, there's some other information that I thought was important to go over. So it does say their last contact with her was October 30. However, 2 welfare checks were performed on November 7th and 2 more on November 8th. I don't know what triggered those welfare checks, but keep that date in mind, November 7th. So Danielle says that on November 10th, so only a few days later, my aunt, she says, which I'm assuming is Chanel's mom, and I were able to get into the apartment. So very quick after they realized something was wrong. The only items we did not locate are her phone and laptop. She also does not have her vehicle because it's parked in her garage. Now, at the very bottom here, it says, we noticed on November 10th, that is when they arrived. November 10th, they noticed that her husband had a busted lip and marks and scratches on his neck and arms. Police were called on November 10th and they took pictures of his injuries, which he did not have 2 days ago when police did the last welfare check. The husband says she does not want to be found. She will reach out when she's ready. He claims he doesn't know where she is. He says he hasn't seen or heard from her since November 7th. Remember, that was when the first welfare check was called in. But LAPD have told us because there's no signs of foul play, there's nothing they can do. And also that they're going to hire a private investigator. I have so many thoughts about this, and unfortunately none of them are positive. And it just makes me sick to my stomach hearing these details, knowing how so many of these cases pan out. And I feel like this one is just checking all of the boxes. Red flag, red flag, red flag. First off, if someone's going to go somewhere and they don't want to be found, why would they not take their car? Second, why would they only take their phone and laptop and not their wallet, their purse, their dog? I also really, really want to know the path that those AirPods took. He says he tracked them to Texas. Did they happen to go through any postal service locations? Did they travel on a highway? That would be very helpful information. There's so many other things that I could say about this, but I'm going to leave it at that. Let me know what you think.
As promised,
That's insane, man.
accused of protecting this sorry excuse of a man, please meet the still practicing attorney accused of purchasing a 13-year-old girl in 2022. Karol Benjamin Skuman is 35 years old and appeared today in the Johannesburg High Court, pleading not guilty to the multiple charges, 26 to be precise, against him. He is currently the co-accused in a horrific trial detailing gross negligence and abuse of minors. The mother of the girl in question, 38 years old, has also pled not guilty to the charges laid before her. The trial, however, will resume on the 4th of November, where she will continue with her plea. Seeing as there's 73 charges against her, Skuman is still out on bail of 30,000 rand following his 2023 arrest. According to media sources, he is still registered as an attorney practicing under CBS Attorney. The Legal Practice Council, however, has also confirmed that there are 3 active complaints against him, none of which are connected to this case. As the trial continues next week, I'll be sure to keep you updated. And for those asking, yes, I will be covering this case in depth and in detail on my channel once the trial has concluded. Until the next one, Bella out.
The popular girls at school
People
befriended
need help,
this
bro.
quiet, nerdy girl who ended up unaliving them. Christine Paula was diagnosed with alopecia, so she was bald and had to wear wigs. She also had to wear these really thick glasses, so her appearance made her the target of relentless bullying. She even had to change schools and started attending Clear Lake High School, where the bullying continued. Two of the more popular girls in school, Rachel and Tiffany, noticed that Christine was being bullied and befriended her. And they gave her one of those like early 2000 movie style makeovers, you know, when they like take off like the nerdy girl's glasses and realize she was beautiful all alone. The makeover was so drastic that Christine was voted Miss Irresistible by her classmates, the same ones that were like just bullying her. Christine, Rachel, and Tiffany were best friends. They did everything together, but unfortunately Rachel and Tiffany were a year older than Christine, so when they graduated, Christine was back to not really having any other friends. So she kind of fell into the wrong crowd. It was also around the same time that Christine started dating 21-year-old Chris Snyder. The two had like a really toxic relationship and started abusing hard substances together. And Tiffany and Rachel did not like their friend's new boyfriend. They like weren't into hard substances. They would occasionally be at parties where like lettuce would be floating around, but the stuff that Christine and Chris were doing was much harder. So on July 18th, 2003, 17-year-old Christine and 21-year-old Chris planned to go to Tiffany's house just to steal some lettuce, but instead started shooting at everyone that was in the house. The couple fired at least 40 rounds, unaliving Rachel, Tiffany, Tiffany's boyfriend Marcus, and his cousin Dee. And this massacre would go unsolved for years, until an anonymous tip came in that led the investigators to the names Chris Snyder and Christine Paula. And no one wanted to believe that Christine could be involved in any way. I mean, she was supposed to be Tiffany and Rachel's best friend. Like, it didn't make any sense, but it was sadly true. Christine was found and brought into custody at a motel that she was hiding out at that was filled with hundreds of needles, and she was sentenced to life in prison. Chris Snyder was never able to be brought to justice because he unalived himself when he found out that the police were finally after him. Christine never apologized or gave any motive to why she unalived her best friends, even though Tiffany and Rachel were the first people to ever show her any kindness. Now it's widely believed that she was just bitterly jealous of them because of how effortlessly beautiful and popular they were. Let me know all of your thoughts, theories, questions, and case suggestions in the comments.
This is
Jealousy. It drives you to do unspeakable things, man. We witnessed that firsthand. If you have that in your heart, just let it go.
probably one of the most chilling unsolved cases I've ever come across. This is Christine Walters, and in 2008 she was a student at the University of Wisconsin. She was a good student, and she had a very pleasant way about her. It was very easy for Christine to make friends, and she just had this personality that would draw people in. Recently, Christine had started looking into the more spiritual side of things and had started teaching yoga and Pilates and was going to more health store foods and just looking at a more holistic way of taking care of her body, if that makes sense. So in 2008, she decided that she wanted to go spend some time in Portland, Oregon with a few of her friends. She had planned to stay there for 3 weeks and bought a two-way ticket. But towards the end of this trip, Christine decided that she had fallen in love with the area and wanted to stay a little bit longer to explore a little more. Christine was also becoming more and more involved in a group called Green Life Evolutions, and this group has since been disbanded because many people believed it to be a cult. Christine decides to stay on the East Coast, and in September of 2008, she moves to Humboldt County, California. At the beginning of this trip, Christine would call her family frequently, keeping in touch with them often, letting them know what was going on. But as time went on, she would call less and less, and she also wasn't working as much, so this would often lead her to call her family occasionally to get some money. Her dad would even send her $1,000, but this would remain completely untouched in her bank account. A few weeks before Christine disappeared, she called her mother, and allegedly this was a concerning phone call. Like, her mom was really worried about her and asked her to come back, but Christine told her mother that she was going to be just fine and decided to stay longer. Then on November 7th of 2008, Christine takes part in a cleansing ceremony where they all drank ayahuasca-infused tea. For those that don't know, ayahuasca is not a legal substance here in the United States, and it is a hallucinogenic. Christine stays with the group of people who were part of this cleansing ceremony until November 11th of 2008. That's when she leaves Arcata, California, because that's where this all took place. It was in the morning hours of November 11th, 2008 that Christine shows up on a couple's property on their front porch. She has scratches all over her body, and her feet are basically raw from running through the woods all night long. She was covered in blood. But not only that, she was scared and completely nude. Christine was taken to the hospital, and there she told doctors and police that she was running from demons who were chasing her. We'll get into more in part 2. It'll be